Alright, hello everyone. Today we're going to be talking about Kitasan Black the horse, Narita Top Road SSR, Admire Vega SR, Sakura Bakushin O SR, and Mejiro Ryan Stamina SR. We'll start off with Kitasan Black. Everyone knows her at this point. She is the poster child of the best card in Umamusume. She is the main protagonist of the third season of Umamusume, which a lot of people are looking forward to her release, and a lot of people will want to go and pull for her. Right, the main protagonist of the third season, she has been given a very good kit, and she is basically designed to be a front runner. She has aptitudes of A on front, B on pace, C on late, G on end. Doesn't matter at all. She's literally a front runner. Her gold skills are front focus, her white skills are front focus, her unique requires her to be first or second. She's a front runner. Don't bother anywhere else. Alright, she has an A on medium attitude. However, she is mainly used on the long tracks because her unique is very optimal on the long tracks, but if it's on the medium track, sometimes it's not very good to get you to win. Alright, she's a very designed specifically for long horse in particular, right? Her unique Victory Cheer is going to be a target speed plus acceleration unique, activates on the third corner in the second half of the race, has a base duration of 5 seconds, increased target speed of 0.25, and also increased acceleration of 0.3, which is very good if you can proc it right before the final leg starts when the acceleration is going to start. Right, her unique is also used for basically all front runners in long tracks, so she's also a very important parent if you're trying to make other front runners for the long tracks. For her innate skills, she has medium straightaways. Surprisingly, this is probably the one that's used the least. After that, we have taking the lead. This is a must-get skill for every single front runner right now for as a proc for groundwork, and also giving you a 0.4 early access to excel. So it's very solid. Right, this is good because it means that Kitasan does not have to use Mihono Bourbon Wit at all. She literally has taking the lead inside of her already. Right, she also has Leader's Pride, a decent speed skill for the front, and also Blast Forward, which is a target speed of 0.35 for 3 seconds on a street exclusively for long tracks, which makes her very strong. Right, for event related skills, you're actually familiar with a lot of these skills. You can get corner adapt, corner recovery. Instead of dodging danger, you just get prudent positioning instead. Then you combo it by getting dodging danger elsewhere. Right, she also comes with keeping the lead, which is good enough long speed skill to help you to fight for the front, and Spring Runner, which is actually relevant for the next upcoming CM, which is the Pisces Cup. Right, speaking of the next CM, she's actually one of the strongest front runners for that CM due to her unique perfect procking on the track, on the Hanshin 3200 meters track. If you're planning to be strong for the next CM and also other long CMs, she's actually a very strong horse to secure your victory. Right, now, training this horse does come with many difficulties. First of all, she is a front runner, so you will need to get the classic 2 greens plus taking the lead plus groundwork from inheritance in order to make her an optimal ace. And the second biggest problem is that you cannot use Kitasan Black speed card with her, which is actually a very big yikes, especially for those who have pulled Kitasan Black as a budget option to basically last all the way until El Condor Pasa. Right, Kitasan Black is a very efficient card. Unfortunately, it cannot be used to train the horse herself, so this is basically going to enter into a bit of a whale territory. Right, so notably, in the make a new track scenario, race bonus is king, so Kitasan Black card at least is not the strongest card during the make a new track scenario. So if you do have the other options, they are technically going to be better. Stuff like Biko, stuff like Fukukitaru all have 10% race bonus, making them much better for the make a new track scenario. So for now, just take note that when you want to pull Kitasan Black, make sure you have enough speed cards first. Alright, you are going to lose Kitasan Black the speed card, so you will have to go and find a substitute somehow. You can borrow one, but you need to find another +1 card to help to substitute for the speed that you're going to lose out. Right, I suggest that you do not pull this horse if your only speed card is Kitasan Black, but if she is your Oshi, please do whatever you want. I cannot stop you. Notably also, alongside Kitasan Black, you will want to get Super Creek also, because this horse is usually run in the long CMs, which means that a Super Creek is going to be very valuable since Kitasan Black does not come with a goal recovery. Right, so she is a very solid horse, but notably, she is probably one of the more whale focused horses because she is first off a long, which has very high base stat requirements, and also she's a front runner, which is also very high skill requirements. So just take note of all of that before you go into Kitasan Black. If you are going to pull her, you may become like me in JP, where I pulled her and was not able to make her. Alright, so just take note of that. And also in the future, there will be 2 more variants of Kitasan Black, and they all basically make they basically make each Kitasan Black subsequently become stronger than the other one, right? But it's like 1 year from now, so you basically have a good amount of value from the Kitasan Blacks for the long CMs, okay? So no problems at all. Right, next we have the Matikanetannhauser, more famously known as Mambo. Mambo will be dropping alongside with Kitasan Black. She appears in some of the episodes of the anime around the 2nd and 3rd season, and so I know besides that, the memes are very popular, so she's going to be very popular for a lot of people. Alright, so this is a first time new 2-star Uma, but they did not make this Uma very powerful. This Uma is just kind of like an okay Umamusume. She is a long specific horse, same as Kitasan Black. She has A aptitudes in pace and late, and A aptitudes on mediums and longs, while having a D on mile. So not too bad since we're entering Ment and we do want to have some mile sparks. Right? Her unique is similar to Haru Urara's recovery, which is a good type of skill to have for the long races, but it's also mediocre to have a recovery instead of a powerful acceleration / speed skill to help you to win. Alright, in terms of innate skills, she has Shake It Out, which is a recovery, which is kind of awkward, Unruffled, which is also another recovery for her to use, and Home Stretch Haste, which is a finishing speed skill, and a gold version of Pressure, which is specifically designed for long. Right? Skills from the events are decent and weird. Tannhauser has a mile D, but she can give you mile corners and updrafters on your events, but besides that, she doesn't have anything else worth mentioning, and she's not really used in mile because her gold recovery is literally her unique, so it's kind of awkward. Right? If you like this horse from the anime or the memes, I cannot stop you from basically pulling this horse, but this horse is really not a very high requirement horse or a very relevant horse in any way. You can treat her like Haru Urara, where she just has a bunch of recoveries, but ultimately not really a significant way to basically win with the horse, right? You have to try really hard and put a lot of effort into making Tannhauser in order to make her work for these CMs, alright? After that, we have a very strong speed card, which is Narita Top Road SSR. This card is only really strong in Make a New Track, but falls off immediately afterwards because the scenarios after Ment do not require you to race at all. Top Road scales off of racing, right? In terms of skills that this card gives you, she will give you stuff like non-standard distance, firm conditions, pace chaser like Prepared to Pass and pace chaser savvy, medium skills like All I've Got and up tempo, and long skills such as pressure and long straightaways. The gold skill that this card gives is a golden version of firm conditions, which is called Firm Course Menace. And what this skill does is that it gives you 60 boosted stats on both your speed and power while racing on a firm track. The effect is decent. We will be having a lot of CMs with firm tracks also, which means that we can use this a lot. The SP cost of this skill is really quite expensive, so you don't really want to go out of your way to go and grab this skill. If you have extra skill points left over and nothing else to buy, maybe you can go and pick up this skill. Otherwise, a regular firm conditions will have been fine already in terms of giving you some stats, right? So what is very good about this card is really the fact that you can stack a crazy amount of training bonus. You can get up to 1 training bonus per 10,000 fans, up to 20 training bonus for 200,000 fans. But this is extremely easy because in Ment you are racing a crazy amount, right? So this is very good. You can get 20% training effectiveness and also 10% race bonus, and it also has 1 speed and 1 power bonus, so it's very good in terms of stat output, right? But there are some caveats to this card. The card does require you to MLB the card. Similar to Fuku Kitaru, if you only get it to 3 limit break, you will only get 5% race bonus, which really sucks. In addition to that, you also will maybe be missing out on the extra stat output that the card will be giving you, right? So you definitely want to make sure to MLB this, just like Fuku, right? Fuku, if you don't MLB, you lose 25 stats, which is very painful. Okay, so second problem is that after the scenario, it's basically dog shit, right? The next scenario in Grand Life, you will do a grand total of 0 optional races, and you'll be basically clicking speed and wit a lot, because in that scenario, friendship is very good. Friendship gauge, by the way, not friendship bonus. You want to have very high friendship gauge. So something like Initial Mood from Kitasan Black is very valuable for the Grand Life scenario, because when you click rainbows, you get more tokens, and more tokens means more songs means more stats, and just like that, you can snowball your run just by clicking a bunch of rainbows, right? So this will basically fall off later on, so just take note of that when you are going to pull this card. I will be pulling this card just because I want to go and get some of the other SRs while I also pull this banner and get my second speed card, because if I use 2 speed cards and then I just borrow 1 more wit card, I can do a 2-2-2, and it's basically like a 6 SSR deck. Very powerful stuff for me in particular, right? So, take note of this: 4 months of lifetime for Narita Top Road. If you have Fuku Kitaro already, you can basically skip this banner. You only needed to get one of them. If you want to borrow the other one, feel free to borrow the other one. But that borrow slot can also be used for other valuable cards like Nice Nature, Ikuno Dictus, Ines Fujin, whatever other very significant card you want to go and use for race bonus or for certain builds that you want to do. Right? Just take note of that. Okay? Right. And if you consider Top Road's stat output, when you compare it with something like Vega SR, Kitasan Black, you can see that Top Road is just kind of okay. The real carry part about Top Road is really the racing part, but if the scenarios don't require you to race at all, which a lot of them in the future will not, then Top Road will fall off extremely badly. Then Biko, Esmaro, Kitasan Black will become the very generically good speed cards for you to slap into your deck because of their very high TE, right? And especially in Grand Life, the initial mood is going to be very good. Right, moving on, we have another real prize on this banner for all of those people who are very budget, or people who are re-rolling for entering back into Umamusume. When you hear about Ment, you hear about Admire Vega Guts. This card is very good for the poor people in particular, the F2Pers, right? Because this card allows you to use the Guts deck, and the Guts deck can help you to high roll for some very good stat output. It's not going to be as OP as something like a 222 because 222 allows you to get some certain skills, right? But the Guts build, even though you sacrifice the skills, you get a lot of extra stats and allows you to basically match your stats to a whale stats, and that means that you can always beat a whale just by praying for the skills that you have to proc, right? This card has 15% race bonus, which is one of the highest race bonuses you can get on a single card. She also has 1 speed bonus and 1 power bonus. These are very important bonuses. For your Guts cards, if you want to try to use the high rolling Guts deck, you will want to get the bonuses that are not Guts bonuses. You want speed bonus to help max the speed. You want power bonus to help max the power. Skill point bonus is also very nice because you can get more skill points from it, right? So these are all very good bonuses to get, and this is one of the cards that has 2 of those bonuses, 1 speed and 1 power. Very good stuff, right? The card is mainly used on a Guts deck for the high rolling of your maximum speed and power. So in an optimal Guts deck, you use something like 3 to 4 Guts cards, with a Yabe Guts SR being the core of your deck. Some people back in my time literally borrowed this card because they did not have it. It's just that powerful. Alright, you want to max your Guts, your speed and your power, earn a very high rating, very good for high scoring, and then after that you want to pump up your wit in order to basically get additional wit for improved efficiency of activating your skills, and also for downhills and also for front runners in general, right? This deck cannot really be used for every CM, just take note of that, because in the upcoming long CM, it is a 3200 meters long CM with 0 stamina on this deck. It's going to be very hard, right? If you try to make it a sum with this, you will basically almost never hit the stamina requirements. You can attempt to. I will just say use the stamina calculator, calculate how much Guts plus stamina you need, and then see how many gold recoveries you need, and see what happens afterwards. Alright, if you can hit it, then you hit it. If you don't hit it, then you don't hit it, whatever. Right, this card will mainly be used for sprint, mile, and medium tracks for the full-on Guts build. However, because this card also comes with 15% race bonus, you can also use it as a filler card for your race bonus deck. Let's say you don't have Nishino power, just slap in an Admire Vega SR and it will basically be a 15% race bonus stat stick for you. Right, no problems at all. For skills, she gives a bunch of end closer and medium skills such as Masterful Gambit, end closer straightaways, end closer savvy, and other not so relevant skills also. So no surprises, her main selling point is really just the stat output of this card. This card is very solid, right? This card also suffers the same problem as Narita Top Road and also Fuku. You must get her to MLB. If you don't get her to MLB, you are not getting 15% race bonus. That is where her true power comes. So if you do have those golden gems saved up, I really hope you have, because you need to go and use those for this banner, alright? Notably, this card is actually harder to get than a Narita Top Road because the pity system does not let you pity Admire Vega Guts. You can only pity the SSR after 200 pulls, which makes her much harder to get. Some people can hit her really early just by being lucky, and some people just don't hit her at all even in 400 pulls. If that happens to you, forget it. Just play a 222 deck. Don't even try to play the Guts deck, or you have to borrow her. She's just that important for your Guts deck. But of course, if you have a bunch of whale cards for the Guts build, feel free to slap them in. I'm sure you can compensate somehow if you have all of the whale guts cards in particular, right? So this card is a very, very good guts card to get. She is an SR card. She cannot be guaranteed to appear, so make sure you go and plan your pulls wisely if you're going to aim for this. Hopefully you have some of those golden gems, otherwise you will be in trouble. Alright, there will be some free pulls on Top Road's banner, so take note of that as well. Okay, next we have Sakura Bakushin O SR. This power card is going to be actually quite solid. It has a 10% race bonus and 70 specialty priority. It's actually quite not bad, right? The specialty priority is only more important for stuff later on. What happens with this card is that unfortunately, in this make a new track scenario, 10% race bonus is not really the high end of power cards. The most common power cards used in the make a new track scenario is 15% race bonus cards, such as Nishino Flower as well as Marvelous Sunday SSR, right? These are the ones that you get for free, and Nishino is another SR that is also very, very solid because of 15% race bonus. So if you combine them both, you get 30% race bonus. Very, very powerful extra statistics for your deck, right? Another problem that the Sakura Bakushin O card has is that it also gives you only a bunch of sprinting skills, and she has 0% hint rate up and 0 hint level bonus, which is pretty bad. So even if you wanted to get these sprint skills, you have a pretty bad time assessing it. And also notably in the make a new track scenario, a lot of the CMs are medium, and then maybe there's 1 mile. So it's long, medium, 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 and then there's going to be 1 mile. I think there's 1 more law also, so it's just that kind of CMs in general. So it's not really any major sprinting events from what I remember in particular, right? So if you happen to have neither Nishino Power or Marvelous Sunday, then you can maybe slot in this card over here. But if you can just go and find any 10% race bonus card and slot it in there, and it will still be quite okay also for you, right? Lastly, we have Mejiro Ryan Stamina SR. This card has 5% race bonus. It is not it for the make a new track scenario, right? There is another option for SR Stamina if you really needed it, which is Manhattan Cafe SR, that has 10% race bonus. Aside from the stat output, the Mejiro Ryan card really does not give you much skills. So with the race bonus on Manhattan Cafe being 10%, you might as well use that card instead if you have that card. Alright, so I think that's pretty much all from me. Don't forget that according to Henry Handsome, there will be free pulls on both the Kitasan Black banner and Narita Top Road SSR Speed banner. It is 60 pulls for the horse and 60 pulls for the card, but it's also possible that they move it all to the Narita Top Road banner. I do not know which one they want to do because they did follow the New Year's style of giving the banner, giving the pulls as a split amount, right? Yeah, so we just see what happens. If you want to go and pull these cards, make sure you go and use those free pulls first instead of finishing it off with the extra free pulls. Otherwise, it's kind of awkward if you manage to somehow in the first, let's say, 150 pulls, you manage to somehow miraculously get a Narita Top Road already, then the 60 pulls is kind of like awkward already, right? So that's just how it is. Okay, so besides that, if you have any other questions about gacha or horses, feel free to go through the Discord first. Discord has a lot of helpers who are able to go and help you out with your planning and also your pulling decisions. You can also ask me. You can go through the Ko-fi, go through the YouTube live streams, the Twitch live streams. I try my best to go and help you guys out, so you can go and ask there if you really wanted to, right? So that's pretty much it, guys. Thanks for watching. I wish you very good luck with your pulls for this banner if you are pulling for this banner, but it's also very likely that for those of you who have already pulled the previous banners like Fuku's banner and Fine Motion's banner, feel free to go and skip this banner also because it's not that high priority, because Narita Top Road does have a limited longevity. Alright, if you already made your decision early on, then you don't have to regret your decision now. Alright, no problems. Okay, see you guys next time. Have fun. Bye bye.